Hi, welcome back. We are The Way, the Leaf, and we are here talking about episode 4 of season 3 of Amazon Prime's Wheel of Time series. This one is called The Road of the Spears. It's written by Rafe Judkins. We're here with our non-book readers, our show watchers only, as always, Lady Catherine and G Mama. Hello.
Hello.
And so we're talking about this episode. This episode to me was, as a book reader, was pretty fulfilling. How was it for you guys as someone who has not read the books?
I loved it. One, I liked that we stayed with one character's or a few characters' storyline throughout instead of jumping from location to location. So at first I was like, okay, trying to remember names and places, and they kept kind of throwing a bunch of things out in the first 10 minutes. And then it all just started clicking because we stayed where we were. So and I loved the way they did it, the history. I mean, we'll get into kind of everything that we learned. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really, really like this episode too.
Excellent. Let's get into it.
There was a long cold open. It was about 19 minutes long. Yeah, it was our friends Rand and Lan doing some sword training while Moiraine and Egwene are just watching.
Under a really lame, kind of very fake looking tree.
Okay.
It wasn't the best looking tree. I will give you that. As soon as it came on screen, Grace was like, "What? What's that? A tree?"
Well, what's with the fake tree?
Mm-hmm.
You know what it looked like? You know those like cell towers, those like fake trees that are cell towers. That's what it looked like to me. So they need cell service out in the Aiel Waste, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what
It was the 5G tree.
I didn't understand when they were training with the swords how they kept saying, "Oh no, swords can't be used as close to that." I mean, people have a problem with swords at this point.
The Aiel have a problem with swords.
Yeah,
Right. Avienda actually even calls out Lan. Not just Rand, but Lan. She's like, "Hey, no swords here this close to the city in the clouds." And Lan's like, "Oh, you want to disarm me? Do you want some? You want a piece of me?" And they have a nice little fight until it's broken up, and Avienda is told she needs to stop being a maiden in the spear. She is going to be a wise one.
Quite abruptly, I must say. It was that was a little bit jarring to me right there in the middle of this fight, and then the wise women come out and they're like, "You need to be done, and you got to go." And then it felt like this ritual, almost this like kind of ritual thing that they started going through of like kind of saying different words or whatever. I'm like, and you know, she taking down her spears, and so it felt, I'm like, you just like, this is the time for the ritual. You're just like stopping her mid fight to send her to the next place.
Yeah, you cannot run from what you must be, which is, I guess, prescient to Rand as well.
I think to a lot of people in this episode, right? I mean, 3 ended up going into Ruidian. I can't remember how to say it. Ruidian.
That works.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, a lot of them I can't run from who they are and what they are there for. They're here on this earth for.
There's a small party that's on their way to Ruidian. Bear tells Avienda, "You go on ahead. You go." And they get to right near the city where there's a bunch of spears set up. Looks like a little campsite is set up, and we meet the Shido for the first time. The Shido have their own representative in there, Moiraine. He's in there, and if he doesn't make it, then Couladin's up at bat. He's ready to take it on.
she looked like she had a basket on her head and a necklace. Didn't it look like a basket weaves kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, the Shioden their costumes or their dress was a whole next level compared to the other Aiel people that we've been out with. Right, they're very much like desert people, and she is like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Nice. This could be a loaf of bread.
Yeah, I thought maybe, I'm like, man, that's a really intricate like braid. I thought her hair was braided and pulled up there, but that would be a lot of damn hair.
That's a lot of hair. You have to ask permission to go into the city. Egwene was not granted permission, but both Rand and Moiraine were granted. Even though, as Couladin says, they are wetlanders. Go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, so some interesting thing that, or at least that I found during all of that, right? So obviously these two different clans of Aiel do not get along. So there was a lot of drama there, and this Couladin didn't seem to have a whole lot of respect for the women and what they were saying. But Bear then used something that resembled the One Power. Something.
Right.
Yeah.
He came charging at her or them, and she stopped him. And even Moiraine seemed to me like she was surprised by it, that she was looking at kind of what was going on.
It seemed like she and Egwene kind of gave each other a little look. Like,
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You see
so
that?
These are wise women, but I mean, we've learned a little bit about kind of who they are and what they are, but not much. But I was surprised that there was a power involved.
Yeah, it seems that just the Aes Sedai aren't the only ones that have powers. Between the Binky ones and the other ones, they all have powers. So each section has her own.
Everyone's got a little power.
They go into the city. Rand and Moiraine see the big tree. Oh, yes, Cass, go ahead.
They go up to the spears, and they have to take their weapons off. And Moiraine is so like me. Wait, I got one here, one here, one here. Oh, wait, 5 here. I mean, she's just.
It's like you and your vase. It's like you and your vase. Huh? You're like, oh, hold on.
Yeah, I can't go with one. Yeah. So yeah, the fact that she had so many, and then when they were standing there and looking at it, it had that round look to it, but in the very front of it, it looked like a one of those. What did I write? The way gates.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It looked like a way gate and then the circle around it. So you had to go through the way gate. Obviously it wasn't, but it kind of looked at it from a distance.
I thought that too. And then they showed, it was a really cool picture that they showed of them walking through and how huge it was too, like with the sun coming through.
Yeah.
What was the description you kept giving, Grace, as they walked through the towers, the pillars? It looked like it was a fleas on a big dog's back.
No, that wasn't those pillars.
That
was when they went into like whatever the crystal forest was.
Yeah.
It looked like in a cartoon, all the hairs on the dog's
See how
back.
it looks like a way gate there?
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the city?
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool. The fog is interesting, and I know we saw the fog kind of created, but I kind of missed why and how. But it's pretty cool. One thing, so at the very beginning or early on, Moiraine and Egwene were in a tent with the two wise women, and one of the wise women kept talking about either the dreams, and she was giving Moiraine a lot of information and about why she was there and kind of what they saw coming, and she basically told her that she was going to go into Ruidian as well. So I mean, they either can see the future or they know things that are going to happen, so they were sharing those. But so even before Moiraine asked to go, she knew that she was going to be granted to go because they saw it.
Yeah. But then they were afraid that they gave her too much knowledge about knowing she was going to go. So yeah.
Right. Well, Bear did. It seemed like the cold open, that first 19 minutes, everyone was really pissy with each other. Moiraine was pissed or Rand was pissed at Moiraine and didn't want to trust her, and
where did that come from? Where did that come from?
I know. I was kind of.
Why doesn't he trust her? She's been doing all of this stuff for him. Why all of a sudden?
I don't know if it was all of a sudden either, because kind of last episode or one of the episodes before, he was saying, like, you're not watching over me anymore. Like, I don't want that anymore.
You're not my mom.
You're not my mom.
You're not my mom.
You're not the boss of me. He said, you're not the boss of me.
But why would that go from you're not my boss to I don't trust you? I didn't get that.
It did seem to go, but he said, can you tell me very plainly that you won't harm me, or you won't make me go to the tower and control me, or whatever it was that he said. But he's like, say it plainly, and she didn't. She's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to have you fulfill the prophecy. He's like, yeah, not good enough. So he doesn't trust why she wants to help him. But yeah, he was really pissy with her. The one wise woman seemed pissy with everybody. Aviandra was pissy with the world. Like, everyone there was a lot of tension in all of that. Just people weren't keen on each other. Everyone's either suspicious or unhappy. So I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the episode, because I was feeling a lot of that tension and angst.
Yeah. But I do like when they went inside and then saw the tree. The tree was amazing.
Yeah, way better than the first cell phone tower tree from the first season.
True. Yeah. Yeah, and that was just I'm like, fairy tree. But yeah, it was beautiful. I really, really like that tree and the symbolism of it, and how the piece at the base of it and all that kind of stuff was really cool.
That does kind of look like a waygate there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Big
and
ass.
Moiraine mentions that this does not look Aiel built.
Yeah, no, with those statues.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, and then she mentioned the fog too. She said she could see like strands of the one power in the fog, but then it would go away. So she was seeing there's the one power somewhere in this whole town, city, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. And we also saw the dust moving a bit on its own.
Yeah, very fear and loathing sand imagery.
Yeah, really.
Does that mean that not everyone can see the powers? Or back to that question, because I think that when, everyone sees the spinning and the things coming, but she saw it. He didn't say anything about it. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he was nervous. He had vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti. His weeks or knees. Weak knee.
Weeks or knees?
Weeks for knees.
Okay, so when the rods shot up and they went to the rods, you thought they looked like a flea on a dog's hair. I was thinking of that. There's a commercial for Head and Shoulders where it's got the tiny football player.
Yes.
In between all the hairs.
Yeah, that works too. Anything where it's like where these little hairs grow out of a scalp or the back of a dog or whatever, like that's what looks like.
That's what they look like to me too.
Oh, that was very funny. And you could almost see like the where the dandruff was growing or where like the damage of the hair was. Just use a little like Head and Shoulders, and then the damage will fix it.
Little dabble do you.
And then the first one he turned into, when he reformed or formed, I swear I thought it was the guy that got zapped up on the top of the hill. He looked just like you said the guy got zapped. His name is Collimander or something.
Ruidian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely, right? Definitely the traits of the Aiel were coming through. The red hair, and a lot of times it's dark red and freckles, like the freckles all over top of their face too. So I noticed that.
when people are ginger, you really should put them out in the sun.
But these
Did you have?
I know these are like gingers, but they're darker complexion gingers. They're not like the pale.
They're contradictions.
Gingers.
Contra ginger.
Before we go into the columns, they had this really fascinating conversation.
Oh, right. She explained the tree. Yeah, that's a good point. She knew of the tree, and her uncle sapling from that tree, and then he tore it down for his throne, and that started the Aiel War.
Yeah. And that's why
he was born on the side of a mountain and died. So the whole prophet, that was very, very, thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah.
And that's why they're there. And we see Janduin is the guy's name. Janduin is Rand's father. And imagine Rand he's never seen his father or mother ever.
Now
suddenly he's there. Yeah. He is his father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Finding his dead mother with no baby to be found. I love the term of endearment they all use. Shadow of my heart.
Shade of my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, not shadow.
Yeah.
That's
there's a couple of them. Yeah.
That's like the evil.
That's the other woman.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
The other woman is the shadow of my heart.
No, the other woman's the shadows. She's softly in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. The next person he turns into is named Mandian. And Mandian is the one who is talking amongst like all the other Aiel clan chiefs when she makes those columns.
Well, yeah, so we saw him first though, right, as he was gonna go into that's where we saw him and his wife, because she called him Shade of my heart. Shadow, yeah. So as he was about to go into the city, and he put his spear, because she's like, the Aes Sedai, right? So now we're learning too that the Aes Sedai had something to do with building this in the first place. So she's like, the Aes Sedai said you can't take your weapon in. So he put his spear out there, and there were no other spears.
Mm-hmm.
So presumably the first one.
Yeah, the start of it.
And she calls them oathbreakers and says, you don't know why you can't carry a sword. Go learn. This is what this is for. And it's pretty interesting that the whole concept of Ruidian, it has two separate aspects, right? There's the glass columns where Rand goes through and he goes backwards in time with every step forward. Mm-hmm. Moiraine goes into these rings and she goes into the future and sees all kinds of future events.
Right.
And they're both connected to the Aiel. The wise ones go in the future, and the clan chiefs go in the past.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, but if the way they gave it to Moiraine, it's not. I mean, if you're going to give me a hint, don't give me the opposite and the positive and the negative. I want to know which one it is. And that's with his, it was pretty straightforward. This is what happened. This is what happened.
Right. You went kind of, each step is another step. So he kind of saw the whole history. And with her, it was 100 different versions of what could be.
Yes.
Not this chronological of what has been.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I guess, the past is defined and we know what that is, and the future isn't. There can be many different versions of the future depending on what happens.
Right.
The different choices people make.
Yeah.
We next get to Lewin.
Sorry, real quick before we do that, just another interesting thing, and I didn't quite understand it when they were standing there looking at Ruidian, the people you just mentioned. That's when we saw the fog start too. Like they were looking at the city, and there was no fog, and then the fog
from the middle
shot up in the middle and kind of came out. And I think either
came from the tree,
or I just missed it. I know I was kind of assuming that too, but so anyway, I thought it was interesting. But Cassie, I don't know if you caught why that happened, or if they said anything about it, or if it just.
No, I just thought it was a tree.
Okay.
is shadowing itself and keeping itself hidden from those who do so to protect itself.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that.
Lewin is a young tinker lad whose sister got kidnapped by bandits. He's with his friend Charlin and his other friend named Alijah, and they decide to go rescue their sisters back. Yes.
They also saw the tree. There was a tree, a pot in one of the whatever
the wagons.
Wagons.
Yeah, and they were just like hanging out underneath, trying to gain enlightenment. They're like, it's
you need to smoke. You need to smoke some more. He was all
right. Yeah.
He was so
that's the way of the leaf.
It is the way.
So awesome,
bro. I can feel its peace.
And there's that white orb.
And the orb. Yeah, I didn't notice the orb this time. I noticed it later.
Yeah.
Lewin is the first Aiel to kill someone, to go against the way of the leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that this is why they veil their faces, right? Because he was disowned. The mother said, "Who is this stranger who looks like my son? Cover your face. I don't ever want to see your face."
But they covered their faces before that too.
Mm-hmm.
For the dust.
When they went into the camp of the people who took their sisters, they said cover your face so they don't see us. Or so even before that they said that, and then she said cover your face because my son I used to have a son that looked like that.
At this point, we've gone like the second section back, and the Aiel are carrying the tree to somewhere, and the Aiels are the tinkers.
Yeah.
So am I right on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
now they're going to protect the Aiel as they're going, and I don't know when it changes and what slips up, but.
So can we talk about? I mean, that was rough, right? I mean, their sisters were stolen.
Mm-hmm.
The mom was distraught, and she's like, "They have taken your sister," and he's like, "I'm gonna go deal with it." And the grandfather was like, "It is what it is.
What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? You bury your dead and you move on. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do," and which is kind of bullshit as far as I'm concerned. And so they went to go get them back, right? No, they weren't planning on using. Don't have any weapons.
No, they didn't bring any.
Right. And then defended themselves. I mean, they had beaten the shit out of these girls. Probably did more than that. And the guy comes at him with a sword or a spear. It was a spear. And they defended themselves. They bring back the girl. Like, that's all the mom wanted was the girl. And then they're like, "Yeah, well, no, you blew it. You're off." So I was starting to have a little problem with the way of the leaf, gentlemen.
They had a sword there. They had a sword there.
I have a challenge with it.
He said, "We do not use the sword. We use the spear because spear you can bring home food. The sword is just for violence."
That was his rationale, right? Of like, okay, yeah, that one is weapon only. We'll bring the one. But regardless, what they did, them going and trying to save the sisters, and killing the kidnappers in the midst of that, got them totally disbanded. And now we not know why there was Aiel and Tinkers being separate. But
yeah, I mean.
We saw in the first season, we saw
with the mom who that's all she wanted, and she had her daughter back, and now she totally disowned her son.
Daughter didn't even say thank you.
Nobody did.
She threw under the bus and walked away. I mean, bleeding and all, but I mean, no thank you, no.
They have a sacred oath, right? I mean, like they mentioned, their oath. They called them oath breakers.
I know. Then they're oath breakers. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But I also think, it was a little bit, I mean, it was awful. She was bad, but she was super harsh. And then, then the kid then the kid goes off, but she has what she wanted. She has her daughter back, which is, she's the one that went crying to him saying, anyway.
Your sister's gone, yeah.
We bury the dead and we move on. That to me is like, I don't know, you gotta do a little bit more than that.
So the grandfather we see, his name is Adon. We see Adon in the next point of view. The point of view is from Jonai, and Jonai is Adon's grandfather. And they had just had another massacre just like this. Everyone but Adon left, and I'm not an oath breaker, and he stayed with them. Yeah. So he's being true to his word. Like, as an old man, he's still not an oth breaker.
Well, right, because he watched that happen. I mean, yeah, he watched his grandfather bury his parents and everyone, and it was just the two of them. Where did they say they were going? The woman said that they were going south because there was something there for them. I was kind of trying to figure out where maybe she was going.
He's going east.
And what plan that was going to start, right? Because now as we're learning, like, oh, okay, they break apart. They're the Tinkers. They're the Aiel. They're like.
I think it said that they were just looking for a place down south where they can sing the song of harvest again.
Okay.
And she's like, "You remember the song?" He's like, "Shit, I wrote that song." No, he didn't say that.
Bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's Adon, and he was the old man in the prior vision.
I did not make that connection, so thank you for making that connection. I mean, obviously, I knew it was all ancestors. I just didn't, the names I wasn't connecting as well as you are.
And it was to protect that damn tree. I mean, the grandfather acts like a pack horse, grabs the wagon and is struggling to get up a tiny little hill. I'm like, there's no way you're getting over those mountain scramps. If you can't get going up a tiny hill. Oh,
that was badass. They mentioned this also. She said, the Aes Sedai have killed the last man who can channel. The earth is settling.
And never mind. So what's interesting, right? So it's maybe them probably going back. So Adan is redhead. But before, like when the guy saved his sister, not everyone there was redhead either, but they referred to themselves as Aiel. But then the two that got banished were the redheads. But anyway, so just looking at how kind of some of that.
There's two more visions he has. The second to last, he doesn't have a name, but he is being given the tree and the female sangreal. They speak in the old tongue. It was awesome.
That one is called Rat Tail.
Yeah.
That was Anakin 2.0.
Yeah, this is ran while he's still a Padawan. There are 10,000 wagons, 10,000 trees. And may peace spread beneath every single one of them. But we only know of one tree and that one sapling that got cut down.
If they're supposed to be the oath breakers, and to my knowledge, their oath was to get the tree to a safe place and let it grow and la 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 la, they did it.
The Aiel became oath breakers because they killed the people who kidnapped his sister.
Those two guys, but I'm talking about, how do these people call them? How do they get the name of the oath breakers when the oath I only saw them have to take was to take the tree to the, somewhere safe, unless there's something else.
These guys weren't called oath breakers. They're called, they're called oath breakers now, or they became called oath breakers because of the two that murdered somebody. That's the first oath that they broke, and so then they split off, and so those two friends or whatever became what we know of now as like the Aiel.
The oath, I think, Lady K, is the way of the leaf.
The way of the leaf was
the oath.
It's a little hard, right? Because they're going backwards. So like, we're like, what happened is then like, what happened was then the future from what we're seeing in the past. And even though, so they weren't Oathbreakers, right? But which is interesting too. That right there that you just showed, the Aiel always follows the way of the leaf, which
and yet.
No, because now they're like badass fighters. Because the first place we saw was them just killing everybody on the mountain, right? So they're like as far from the way of the leaf as you can get now.
Even their kissing games are violent. Right.
But what they said too was when they left, when the two boys got banished, is we're gonna protect them. That's what we're gonna do. Well, like we're gonna watch them from afar and we're gonna protect them. So the way of the leaf is now the way of something else.
Yeah.
There are still followers of the way of the leaf. We have met the Tinkers before. Yeah. What does this make the Tinkers then?
They're the beginning of the Ginge.
They're the OG Ginge?
So I wonder if they still consider themselves Aiel, or if it's just, or if the fact that they're no longer, if they don't consider themselves Aiel anymore. But I mean, they certainly were, right? The Aiel, the way of the leaf, they were all in the wagons. That was that. I mean, they were the same people. And now that they've split, it's kind of the Aiel that we know now are the redhead spear badass fighters that protect people, and the way of the leaf are still looking for the song and not and still they still have the oath, but I wonder if they still consider themselves Aiel.
And did you guys notice that they mentioned Luce Theron?
Okay, that's my next one. He's got the...
Was that the next one, or was that
rat tail
one?
Again? It hasn't been long
the
before.
Final one.
Oh, before we get to the last one, when she gave him like the orb, and when the woman was talking to him, she mentioned, right? So it's Aes Sedai, and then she did mention an Aes Sedai woman who. And I'm trying to now remember what she said, but she said she like basically left and then took on the name Lanfear.
Lanfear, yeah.
So we heard something about Lanfear kind of, doing basically becoming Lanfear one step before then we ended up seeing.
Yeah, let's get a tiny bit deep. Let's get a little deeper into that, because they give away this, I think it's called the Sakaran. I could be wrong, but I think it's called the Sakaran, and it's the most powerful female Sa'angreal. It's only for female use, and it's supposed to be used with Kalendor, which is in a rock. Yeah, stone.
Right, which we've already learned about and knew that they were going to try and go and get Rand to get that because he needed it. So,
do you think Moiraine knows what she grabbed?
Yeah,
I think it was behind the ivy, and it was calling to her. Whether she knows what it is right now or not, but I think it called to her to get it.
Yeah, but I think she knows what it is. She seems to just really know things. Like
I drink and I know things.
Yeah. But I feel like just part of kind of that Aes Sedai wisdom that I feel like she would have known that.
I mean, it is kind of larceny.
It was total larceny.
She's all yoink. Just put that in my bag. I'm not going to scan that at the self-checkout.
Have you never read The Giving Tree?
Okay. Did the tree say, "Come here, boy"?
Yeah, come sit near me.
Apparently, she just said it was calling to her.
Come here, boy.
Moiraine, take my energy.
Okay. So the next one has me so excited, and just this one little part, because then half of it I didn't understand. But when they said Lanfear's talking, and Lanfear's talking in the Old English or the Old language, and then what's his face? I don't know what his name is here. Is talking in the Old language.
Charn.
Charizard?
Charn. His name's Charn.
Charn with the rat's tail is talking. And
you know, when you look like that, you got to get by on your charm.
and those terrible contacts. Okay, so then she says something about Luce Theron. So she's not referring to him as Luce Theron. She's referring to Luce Theron. That means that he wasn't Luce Theron in his past.
Well,
that's what it suggests.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, these are his ancestors that he's seeing. It's not him that he's seeing.
No, but
ancestors.
But if he was in his previous life Luce Theron, who would this ancestor be?
Mm-hmm. They do seem to be contemporaries.
Yeah.
It just seems more confusing. I thought he was Luce Theron in a previous life. Then when he, died or whatever, then after 3,000 years, you spit back out, this is who he is. But
yeah, I mean, and we know that she was in love with Luce Theron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And she sees Luce Theron in him, but he don't look like Luce Theron, obviously. He looks like the farm boy.
She was talking about, she found the thinnest part of the pattern. She found what she thinks is the true power that everyone can use. Everyone. She's like, imagine, see all your family out there just like using sickles. Psh, no, we could one power that stuff. Everyone could do it.
It's like she discovered AI.
Right, and he's like, no, I kind of like writing my own stuff.
I like going out there and actually working.
She never had to do our lawn.
Well, and what we didn't kind of talk about, like in these last two, and we saw this before too, that there's a much more futuristic aspect back then than there is today.
Well, that was shown before when the men were in charge and the women in charge, when they were coexisting and co-powering.
Right.
They'd come so far, and then it went backwards.
Right.
But then he goes down to, harvest the wheat, and then there is a I don't know,
Death Star.
It was the Death Star.
Yeah, and stay on target. Someone had to, and then it blows up, and then there's like pixels in the background.
So here was my interpretation of what was happening. That also looks like a disco ball, but so she referenced that she found this thin line, right? That has power that everyone will be able to access. And he's like, thanks, not really interested. I'm going to go, sing and cut some wheat. That's a total euphemism, by the way. Actually, it wasn't. He did want to go sing and cut some wheat.
Sing and cut wheat.
So I think whatever it was that she did, this thinnest line that she found, she fucked it. She did something. She blew it. She did something, and then it exploded, because where they were looking, what it seemed like, right? They were up in this like window area looking down, and then when he was down, he was looking up in that like where they had been standing, and that's where the explosion came from. So I think whatever it was that she did is what did this, and then. Then
everything fell apart that was in the future, reverted back after this?
I think so. Well, yeah, well, let's see. Now my timeline's a little bit funky, right? So this happened, that explosion happened, and then after that,
he was sent with the ball.
Was sent. So now my brain's a little messed up. I was thinking it all broke and then went back, but it was still modern then. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and the one with the ball is where they mentioned land fear. So
and then we met
whatever. She didn't die.
Right. What we don't know is how long, like the timing of those two. Right. Those are both ancestors of his, but we don't. Maybe one is his uncle, and one is like a great grandfather or something, like So, because they said too, right, when they and I was very thankful that they kept repeating what the woman had said, that like each step is a step backwards, either like weeks or decades or something like that. It was whatever it was. So we don't know, like some of them were really long time ago. Some of them could have been.
She said hundreds of years. It could be.
Yeah. So those two seemed like that they were closer together, but yeah, and we were talking about the same Lanfear who looks the same still, 3,000, however, I don't know why I said 3,000 years. I don't know how long it's been.
Oh, I mean, that's
maybe we've talked about that at some point.
Yeah.
There was mention of Maren Sedai, who took Lanfear, who released Dark One or broke.
Released the Dark One from prison, right?
Is this what we were watching?
Them releasing the Dark Lord from prison?
So maybe, right? And they were really close together. Again, it's just that who he's seeing as his relatives. But maybe that's also why they showed the one who got the Sangreal with his husband or his partner as well, just to kind of show that like not all of these might be exact direct descendants. Maybe they're all. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that was.
She did say direct blood, but I guess it doesn't necessarily mean a straight line. I guess
Right.
I found it fascinating. I found it really good. I think the makeup they did was really good on each one of the characters, because that was him in all of them.
Yeah,
and
was it
some of them
him on in every single one?
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking really good.
Well, the first one, I'm like, it doesn't look like him, but it sounds like him.
Mm-hmm.
But then kind of some of the other ones, I wasn't sure. And then obviously when he was younger. Yeah.
The first one fooled me. I didn't think it was him. And then I started catching on the second, third, fourth.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the first one was actually that first guy. So, but
he's a powerhouse actor. He did great.
He did really good, made it through, and then it was Moiraine's time.
And then it was Moiraine, Rand was not the only one going through his trials. Moraine's looked much more aggro.
Well, and you know what? It was interesting too. So his way, like obviously he had to power through, and he saw the other dude in there who was like ripping his eyes out. So that was not pleasant. But
Mordant.
Yes.
When Lanfear was talking to Farmer Rand, they were speaking in the old tongue.
Mm-hmm. Charn.
Now, I'm assuming not long after that, is interned and brought down and entombed. She does not speak in the old tongue now. Did she learn English while she was asleep?
Oh.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
What else you gonna do?
You listen to books on tape. Yeah.
The babble.
Actually that Farmer Rand was really, people didn't like playing him in dice. He was a lucky charm.
Magically delicious. But I really want to go out and get a gold tattoo.
Dude.
Right.
With a little green like dragon eye on it. It had like a little green like shiny dragon eye. It was pretty bitchin'.
That'd be epic.
Right. So but what I was gonna say about Moiraine going into like the rings, she had to like just jump right in, and she saw Avienda up there and everyone, their lips were so chapped. I'm like, and then I realized it's because they were in there for like 7 days. I'm like, but damn, if you don't need some like lip balm.
Some Carmex.
Yeah. I'm like, my whole time I'm like,
Burt's Bees.
I need lip balm.
Just thirsty.
Well, and but Avienda and Moiraine look horrified, or just their faces are just like and they're floating up in the air and looking all in pain,
like spinning. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was like, and Moiraine walked straight into it, like okay,
right?
But I thought that was so cool looking. Anti-gravity room.
right.
One thing I did notice through her, because we get flashes of her
Just
things.
flashes. I definitely want to watch this episode again. And I want to watch that again and like see all those flashes.
A lot of them, she was HBIC.
She was Amerlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a few of them. Half of them.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
In half of them, she kills Rand. And half of them, Rand kills her. But at the end, with Lanfear, she kills Moiraine every time.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of telling her, who you can trust and who you can't, kind of.
I predict that we're going to see Moiraine from now on just wearing a shield across her neck.
Right.
Because her throat got slashed so many times during these visions.
And then it showed her in bed with Rand and in bed with Lanfear. Like,
getting choked out by Lanfear.
Yeah.
It's the next thing.
It was kind of awesome. It didn't seem, to your point, she I was super impressed with just even how she looked, and that face, was kind of crazy as well. But in some ways it seemed a little bit easier than what Rand was doing. Cause I don't know, but I don't know why I'm saying that. Maybe because it was just quicker on the screen for us.
Oh gosh, I had the exact opposite. I thought that imagine just getting killed time and time and time again.
That's true.
With the tumbling and everything, I think I throw up.
So she bonds Rand. Rand swears fealty to her. She swears fealty to Rand. There's all kinds of different things. In fact, she swears fealty to Rand. It looks like in the Two Rivers. She's like surrounded by farmers and stuff when that happens.
Right. Yeah, it was like farm. Yeah, there were farmers. Oh, and then Lan. Yeah, so Lan was burning alive, and she was there.
Yeah,
she put it out. She spit on him.
Yeah. These things do seem pretty horrific to live through. Rand was the Aiel that was in front of him, Couladin's brother, raked out his eyeballs with his fingernails. His eyes were bleeding, and this was in the book as well. He had tore his eyes from his skull because he could not take the knowledge that the Aiel weren't always like big tough guys. They were followers of the way to leave.
So okay, that just.
Oh shit! Did I?
No.
Because
everyone who goes through gets the same history of the Aiel, but through their own ancestors' point of view. Is that what happens?
That's what it sounds like, and that's what Ruark seems to indicate as well.
Yeah.
That they all go, but they don't talk about it unless you've gone through it.
And then they said too, right, that you're going to learn why you're Oathbreakers. So I guess that's like that history. But what's interesting, then, if we look at it through that way, is Rand. His ancestor was the Oathbreaker that was seemed to be the first one to kill somebody and was banished. Mm-hmm. So I wonder what the story is for somebody else, and what
I think they sent out 1,000 trees because there was 1,000 different
10,000
gypsy caravans or terror. So I think each one of them came from a different
and they're all Oathbreakers in their own way. They all they all broke up. Okay, I like that.
The Aiel are in Seps. They now have different clans and Seps. Do you think this may have been like the start of that?
Maybe, but they're all still redheads.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was trying to think of the we were going back to kind of Moiraine, and I know what I was going to say. So and I didn't think of it when I was watching it, but as we're just kind of talking about it now, that each of those like little experiences, even though what we saw were flashes, may have been like her going through the arches, and so to like how trying that is, like going through, to be accepted and going, and like you're really living for however long, and you think that that's kind of that real life. So if she lived that many different experiences, that's why her face looked like it did.
She was in there days longer than he was.
Yeah, she was in there longer than he was. You're right.
But I thought that was really cool that he waited for her. I went in with her. I'll wait for her.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't want to go in with her, or he didn't want her to go in. He was pissed. He didn't trust her the whole beginning part, and then he changed his tune. Once he was done, he's like, oh, I gotta go get her and go and then make sure, and then he literally carried her out.
Yeah.
So for how?
And Avienda's like, fine, Wetlander. That's dumb. If she can't make it out, then she's weak.
Yeah. So you wonder.
She saw the ink on him. She knew he's the car, and she still called him Wetlander. Is it just like a snotty name to call him?
Okay.
Or she's still not accepting him?
It is a slur.
Okay.
It's a very bad slur. It's like she used Wetlander with a hard R.
So do you think, here's my question. Do you think that Rand went in and got Moiraine out? Or did she get herself out and then she was just too weak and so he carried her?
Great question.
I don't think he could enter it. I think he had to wait till she was done and then he carried her out.
Mm-hmm. You imagine Rand falls asleep against that tree and wakes up and still sees Moiraine floating there like all, ah! He's like oh, she's still doing it.
Lip balm.
I need lip balm.
I'm going to get me a soda.
Aloe doesn't grow in the desert.
But so then my other question too is he didn't trust her and was really tense toward her before they went in. He didn't even want her to go in. And then so I'm asking these questions because I just need to think of them and feel like I said I want to watch it again. If what he saw and experienced made him change his mind about her and the Aes Sedai, or if just the traumatic experience that he went through, he's like, oh, she's going to be going through it too. So I actually care. I do care for her as a person. So I'm not sure yet if he's like, oh, I need her to do whatever I'm going to do.
When he came out, he told the girl that had come out, and he said, she goes, oh, now you know about the swords? He goes, no, now I know enough to know that I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I think that it made him change his thought.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, it's a scene different.
Right.
I didn't understand Moraine's look at him at the end. Like, is she wanting him, mad at him, worried about him? I didn't understand that.
I mean, right here, he hands her off to Lan, and she's reaching out to him. Mm-hmm. It's very subtle.
Yeah, but then she looks at him, and I didn't know what was in the look. That's what I was wondering.
Well, she's a good actress.
Right, and because what you just said, Lady Catherine, makes so much sense, right? That he said, I now know that I don't know. Because the night before, Moiraine had asked him, she's like, do you think you know everything? And he didn't answer her. So he now at least knows the answer, how to answer her.
Right, yeah.
He is now the most humble man in the world.
Is she scared of him? I didn't understand that look. It looks more scared to me.
It's got a lot. There's a lot in it. It could be any number of things. Exhaustion, gratefulness, fear. Like, holy shit, we got a lot to do together.
Mm-hmm. Right, and everything.
I just saw it end like 100 different ways.
And we didn't see her with like a family and a husband or anything. All of her futures were with Rand or Lanfear or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or with swan, right? Like there was one where she was like, it seemed like she was it? What is it? Right. So it was the very first one, I think, where she was like making a fishing net. So, I assume that she was at Swan's like childhood home, and she said, yeah, but I can't remember if that was Swan who walked out or not. So it was the only one where she was like in like a domestic life. All the other ones were work.
Yeah, she's got some of those tattoos on her arms.
Oh yeah, and a smile.
Which is rare for her in this show.
The only time, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's probably the only smile we saw on her this whole episode.
Yeah. Or Lan, we got a good Lan smile when he was battling Avienda. He loved that shit.
Yeah. Well, and we saw Lan at the very beginning. Lan and Rand have a relationship, right? And Rand can confide in Lan that he can't in Moiraine, right? He talks about his dad. He talks about what it was like in the Two Rivers, and so they have a good relationship.
Well, and Lan started crying in front of Egwene.
Right.
Again.
I just don't see Moiraine asking Rand questions like Lan would, like really caring about who he is. You are this entity, and this is.
Again, like all those things, we saw one where it was domestic. Everything else is it's business. She's work. She's
Yeah, that's a nice smile.
Back to business.
This was so great. She's trying to save the world.
This Lan would be a good high school guidance counselor.
I would take his guidance.
I think I all the time.
I would let him counsel me.
Oh no.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
Oh no.
Whoa.
I said high school, Grace.
It's getting hot in here.
Gross.
Woo.
So gross.
Woo. I'm feeling verklempt. Right, and that's the end of the episode.
What grade do you give it?
Oh man, I really, really liked this episode a lot. And so I'm like 9.5 or more.
Or more. 9.5 or more.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did the first one. I did think I did the first one 9.5.
Yeah.
And if I did the first one 9.5, this is equal to the first one. It was amazing in its own way.
Yeah, I liked it better. So I'm like, I don't remember what I gave the first one, but I liked this one better. I did. I do like being able to stay with, again, even though we learned so much, but I like being able to really be immersed in like one storyline the way through it. It helps me stick with it and build, and it all builds. And I'm like, okay, you built one upon the other, and now I can, I probably got 75 to 80% of it. I still didn't get 100%, but the amount of filming that they had for that, with each one of the clips, all different things. Oh man, that must have taken weeks and months. The different costumes, right? I was thinking that too. How fast those were, right? 10 little clips, and there were different costumes and different locations and different, how crazy that must have been.
That technique, and the way that they flipped the entire world like that too was so interesting to watch.
That was really cool.
I loved every second.
Now, do you understand the Death Star blowing up? Do you understand that yourself from the book?
No.
Okay, all right. Just asking if that was something that you know.
It's not how I pictured it, but
it's not about how you're picturing it, but that.
Oh, I understand the moment. Yeah.
Okay, I imagine that was a pretty big moment in the books, and it's not just a.
Oh, absolutely.
It was really good. Yeah, that was really good. I'm really glad we watched that. Yay!
Yay! Yeah. All right, well, ladies, thank you for another wonderful episode of Non-Reader Reacts. Tune in next week as we dive into episode 5. This has been The Way of the Leaf Productions, and as always, run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.